Shocking testimonies from Ukrainian prisoners of war are shedding light on the brutal realities faced on the Donetsk frontline. Soldiers recounted being placed in almost impossible combat positions, subjected to constant surveillance, and enduring relentless attacks from Russian unmanned aerial vehicles (UAVs). These POW describe witnessing mass casualties, with decaying bodies often present on the battlefield, and reported receiving orders to target civilians under extreme pressure. Both volunteers and drafted soldiers faced repeated deployments to highly lethal positions, leading to numerous deaths and injuries, frequently attributed to friendly fire. Despite the horrors of combat, Russian forces reportedly provide humane treatment to the prisoners, including adequate food and medical care. These accounts offer a stark and detailed glimpse into the profound human costs of modern warfare in eastern Ukraine, revealing the psychological and physical toll on those directly involved in the intense conflict, while also highlighting specific claims regarding the conduct of both sides in the brutal fighting. Europe is actively engaged in war-gaming exercise against Russia in the icy northern regions of Norway, and NATO nations, including the United Kingdom, Sweden, and Finland, participated in a major joint expeditionary force drill. This exercise simulated a Russian invasion conducted amidst growing fears of Moscow's perceived aggression. U.S. Secretary of Defense Peter Hegseth urged NATO to get serious about the Russian threat, emphasizing the need for enhanced preparedness. Moscow, in response, sharply criticized these drills as reckless militarization occurring in close proximity to its border. Observers suggest that Europe's Cold War mentality has resurfaced, but this time it is accompanied by concrete battle plans and a heightened sense of urgency. At a Bundeswehr conference, Lieutenant General Alexander Stolfrank, commander of Germany's joint forces, revealed that Berlin is preparing to serve as NATO's springboard in the event of a confrontation with Moscow. He stated that up to 800,000 NATO troops and heavy equipment could be deployed to Germany towards the eastern flank if war were to break out. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz also called for accelerated militarizations to strengthen NATO's deterrence capabilities against Russia. These warnings are being issued amidst renewed concerns of a potential full-scale NATO-Russia confrontation by 2029, as Moscow continues its war in Ukraine and monitors what it terms the escalating militarizations of Europe. Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson has warned that Europe faces a prolonged rupture in its relation with Moscow as tension between NATO and Russia continues to intensify. Speaking in Tallinn alongside Estonian Prime Minister Kristen Michael, Kristersson's urge for unity and sustained military and economic pressure on Russia. He emphasized that Sweden and its allies must prepare for a long-term confrontation and significantly increase defense spending. NATO members have recently expanded their defense budget and coordinated missiles and air defense drills in response to the perceived threat. The Kremlin responded sharply to these developments, with Dmitry Peskov asserting that Russia cannot be isolated and warning that Western sanctions would ultimately backfire on those who impose them. The European Union's plan to utilize frozen Russian assets has encountered a significant obstacle, with Belgium reportedly refusing to support the proposal due to legal and financial concerns. Brussels has hoped to unlock these funds to support large-scale loans for Ukraine's recovery and reconstruction efforts. However, member states remain divided and cautious about potential Russian retaliation, which could have unforeseen economic and political consequences. Recent warnings from leaders in Belgium and Slovakia have exacerbated the uncertainty surrounding the plan, especially as Moscow signals a harder line in its foreign policy while simultaneously showcasing new strategic military capabilities. The stalled negotiations over the use of frozen assets have emerged as a central challenge for EU policymakers as they prepare for the next summit, highlighting deep divisions within the bloc on how to proceed with punitive measures against Russia and support for Ukraine. The European Union's ambitious plan to repurpose frozen Russian assets for Ukraine's recovery has hit a substantial wall, primarily due to Belgium's strong refusal to endorse the proposal. This hesitation stems from deep-seated legal and financial concerns voiced by Brussels, creating a significant hurdle for the EU's strategic initiatives. The initial hope was that these frozen funds could be leveraged to back substantial loans aimed at aiding Ukraine's extensive reconstruction efforts. However, the proposal has encountered widespread division among member states, who remain wary and cautious about the potential for Russian retaliation. This apprehension has been further amplified by recent warnings from leaders in Belgium and Slovakia, intensifying the atmosphere of uncertainty within the bloc. Simultaneously, Moscow has adopted a more assertive stance, publicly demonstrating new strategic capabilities, which only adds to the complexity of the situation. These stalled negotiations now represent a critical challenge for EU policymakers as they approach their next summit. The ongoing impasse reflects the intricate legal frameworks surrounding assets forfeiture, the potential for destabilizing international financial markets, and the broader geopolitical implications of such a move. The cautious approach taken by some member states underscore a desire to avoid setting precedent that could undermine international law or provoke an unpredictable response from Russia, indicating a delicate balance between supporting Ukraine and maintaining global financial stability. The outcome of these discussions will not only influence Ukraine's future, but also shape the EU's unified foreign policy and its capacity to act decisively on the international stage. If you have made it this far, congratulations, you have unlocked the truth. I want to ask you a quick question though. With Ukrainian soldiers describing frontline chaos, NATO simulating full-scale war in the Arctic, and EU unity crumbling over Russian assets, do you think Europe is preparing for a wider war with Russia by 2029? Or are these moves purely defensive posturing to avoid actual conflict, and why? Join the debate. We want to hear your insightful opinion on where this is all heading in our community. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Like the video, hit the notification bell, and most importantly, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.